So Beth, can you give us the finance report?
It's on? Yeah. I wanted to start today by introducing our independent auditor from Moss Adams, who's here. Nancy Young is our senior accountant who's been working with us. I also want to introduce or give credit to Lori Tasker, who's TriMet's Director of Financial Services, who worked extremely hard with the independent auditor to direct the internal work that was required to put this together. Both Nancy and Lori had met with the Finance Committee earlier this year, and as part of the Finance Committee oversight that you so diligently provide. Nancy is going to give you an overview of the procedures and the audit standards, the nature of the services they provide, and recent and upcoming accounting standards that are relevant to TriMet. Before she does that, though, I'd like to just say a few words about the financial statements and about the process. As you know, the financial statements provide, any financial statements for any entity provide a comprehensive picture of the district's or the entity's overall financial position. And there's extensive detail in the tables, particularly in the notes, which explain the complexities of any large organization. And all of this is available to the public on our website and in hard copy. And I want to emphasize that we as staff, as well as the independent auditors, take this very seriously and dedicate an extensive amount of time and effort, not only to assuring the accuracy of what's in the report, but also a huge focus on the clarity of what we're presenting so that the financial position of the agency as seen by the public is clear. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to Nancy Young. Thank you.
Thank you. So again, I'm Nancy Young, and I'm a senior manager with Moss Adams, and with me is Lisa Itzen, who's the manager on the engagement, and Jim Lanzarota, who's the partner on the engagement. Since his regrets, he had a previous commitment that did not allow him to be here today. The areas that we wanted to cover, we just wanted to briefly discuss the nature of the services that we've provided, our opinion in the reports, and then required communications. Regarding the natures of the services provided, we provided an audit under generally accepted auditing standards and generally accepted government auditing standards. An audit in accordance with the Office of Management and Budget, those A133 federal funding requirements, and then the Oregon Municipal Standards audit as well. Regarding our reports, I guess the most important thing that you want to know from us today is what is the opinion, and we have issued an unqualified opinion. It's a clean opinion. It doesn't get any better than that, so congratulations. We appreciate that. It means that the financial statements are fairly presented in all material respects. In the packet that we provided you are our draft reports, and I just want to briefly touch on each one of those reports. The first one is your independent auditor's report, and again, that is issued an unqualified or clean opinion. The second report is the generally accepted government auditing standards report on internal controls. The third report is the A133 compliance report, and you will notice that within that report it refers to one finding. I just want to briefly touch on that finding. We looked at contracting, and we found in one of 23 instances that some wording was left out of the contract. In this particular instance, it was a little bit unique because the contractor was not originally engaged to be a federally sourced project. The project was subsequently then determined to be a federally sourced project. However, an amendment was not issued to include that required language. So at this time, or as of the date of our report, there were no cash drawdowns for any of those expenditures, and the district did reverse any costs and move that to local funds. So just want to bring that to your attention. And then finally, on our Oregon Municipal Standards report, that report has to do with your compliance regarding debt, budgeting, investments, insurance, contracting, and we found that TriMet was in compliance with those requirements. And now what I'd like to do is turn it over to Lisa Itzen to go through our required communications with you.
GAAP requires us to identify several things with you under the Standard 114, the first of which is our responsibility under the auditing standards. Our responsibility is to form an opinion on whether there are any material misstatements in the financial statements. We do include consideration of internal control, but are not, but don't express an opinion over whether or not the internal controls were operating effectively. We have performed the audit in accordance to the plan scope and timing that was communicated in the engagement letter. As far as the significant accounting policies go, management is responsible for the selection and the use of the appropriate accounting principles. All of those principles are noted in Note 1 in the financial statements. There were several new GASBs that were adopted during the current year. GASB 45, the accounting for OPEB, GASB 49, which was the environmental remediation liability, GASB 50, which relates to the pension disclosures, and GASB 53, which is early implemented, which is the accounting for derivative instruments. Significant accounting estimates. TriMet has several significant accounting estimates, including, payroll and self-employment related tax receivables, useful lives of the capital assets, claims liabilities, and the employee benefit accruals. The corrected and uncorrected misstatements. There were no uncorrected misstatements in the financial statements this year. Management's consultation with other independent accountants. There are really two parts to this. We were not aware of any opinion shopping or second opinions from the TriMet management, and we were not contacted by any other external auditors to that fact. We did not have any disagreements with management, although there were healthy discussions, which we appreciate. There were no disagreements. Management will represent to us in a representation letter many of the key items that flow through to the financial statements. Significant difficulties encountering and performing the audit, there were none. There is a new learning curve whenever new GASBs come out and are implemented, but there were no difficulties there. Let's see here. And then communication of internal control related matters. Nancy already mentioned the one finding that we found, and we did not note any other material weaknesses or significant deficiencies in internal controls. Thank you, Nancy.
Thank you, Lisa. So again, just to summarize, we have issued a clean opinion, and we just want to extend our thanks to Betsy Hamill, Lori Tasker, the Finance Committee, and to the board. So if you have any questions, we'd be happy to address them.